In this video, I'm going to give a brief explanation of the passive voice used with the verb ser in Spanish. First of all, what is the passive voice? Well, it's easier to understand if you start with active voice. The active voice is a way of looking at a sentence in which a subject performs an action onto an object. And the passive voice is a little less used, it's a little less common, but it's like the focus of the sentence is the object receiving the action. So it's easier if we just look at an example. Here's an example of active voice. The kids ate the bread. So we have the subject doing an action onto the object. Okay. Now, the passive voice would be the bread was eaten by the kids. The bread was eaten by the kids. So how do we do that in Spanish? I've given you an example and a formula here that kind of illustrates how we put it together in Spanish. So in the example it says, el pan fue comido por los niños. So let's look, what's the formula here? We use the object. Okay, that's the thing receiving the action. In this case, the bread. And then we use ser. That's the next word that's going to pop up in the sentence. And then the past participle. Well, ser in this case would be fue, and the past participle here would be comido. Now, the past participle needs to match in gender and number with the object it's describing. Okay, so el pan fue comido. So comido is masculine singular because pan is masculine and singular. After the past participle, we're going to use the verb por, which basically means by. And then we follow that with the subject. So, por los niños. So, the kids ate the bread. So, what we're saying here is the bread was eaten by the kids. So, that's basically this sentence here in English. Okay, so this is the passive voice. All right, so let's try one here. What I've given you here is several active voice sentences in Spanish, and I'd like you to convert them to passive voice. So this says, la anciana limpió la casa. So the old lady cleaned the house. So what you want to say is the house was cleaned by the old lady. So if we follow the formula, we'll start with the object. So we'll say la casa, and then ser comes next, fue, and then the past participle. And you look at the verb here, limpiar, and you're just going to flip that to the ado, ido ending and make it match with the object it describes. So, limpiada. And then por comes next. Just follow your formula. And then the subject comes last, la anciana. Okay. So there you have it. That's what you're doing in this exercise. We're going to try one more example here. La campaña electoral escribió muchas cartas. So we start with the object, which is muchas cartas. Muchas cartas. And then ser comes next. Now this time we have to make it plural, so we're going to say fueron. And then the past participle from escribir would be escritos. Escritas, feminine, plural. Got to get my C in there, escritas. We're matching it with cartas escritas. And then por, and then the subject, which is the electoral campaign. La campaña electoral. And there you have it. Hope this little video was helpful for you. And I will talk to you later. Adios, chicos.